Hello everyone, it's Shayna, and today I'm going to talk about waiting for love. And often it gets difficult for us as girls or women, and so when I'm speaking today about it, I'll be drawing from personal experiences from rushing love in college, high school, and even now as an adult woman. And I'll share my victories in waiting for love and why I know that that's best, and that's what you should do. I also have some help from God, who is the creator of love himself. So I'll be pointing out a few Bible verses that I like, that I meditate on to help me while I'm waiting and God is developing my character. So before we get into the benefits of waiting and why waiting is so important, waiting on love, I will start with 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8, and I'm sure you have heard it before. So I won't quote the whole thing, but what I'll do is I'll point out a few points from that verse that I love, that really, really speak to me and that help me. And it's no mistake that the first thing that God says is that love is patient. God doesn't make any mistakes. He knows exactly what he's doing. When he puts something first, that's of high priority. And so when we're looking for a mate, or we want a boyfriend, or we're dating, we want someone that loves us like our mother loves us, or like our father loves us. And the reason why we want this is because they have been there for us through thick and through thin. Of course, they've been our biggest cheerleader. When we fell, they were there for us, and they just always supported us, and so that's what you want in a mate. And the reason why that love for a parent, our parents' love for us is so strong is because they've been patient with us. And that's why we love them so much, and that's what you should definitely want in a mate, and that's where true love comes in. Patience first, So nothing great has been done without patience. When you were learning to walk, when your parents were waiting on you to walk, they had to be patient, So being patient is very, very important. You want to make sure that you are waiting on God to perfect that person, or get that person to where they need to be, where he can come into your life. And also the same for us, because we're not perfect. And so while we are waiting, God is working on us. So waiting, like I said, is very, very important. Being patient is important. The other thing I like about 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8 is that he says that love is kind. And a lot of times we get being kind mixed up with being cruel, or just throwing us a little something just to kind of keep us with them. And you just have to really, really be careful with what you define as kind, and I'll leave that at that. The next thing that I like is that it says love is not self-seeking and love is not envious. So I'll talk about both of those. And one, when you talk about love is self-seeking, I'm pretty sure we all have been involved with boys or men, who have been self-seeking. It's all about them. It's what can we do for them? Why haven't you called me? When are you going to drive and come see me? And as women, we are supposed to be waiting. It's a man that findeth the wife that finds a good thing. So we should put effort into the relationship, but the guy should be the one seeking us. And so even when it comes to real love, it should not be self-seeking. It should not be all about me, and it should not be all about him. So it should not be all about you, and it should not be about the guy that's seeking you, And so that's another thing when it comes to true love. Envy. Love is not envious. And I have also been in one or two abusive relationships. And when I tell you that when a guy is envious or he is jealous with who you're talking to, it's not cute. It's not cute at all. It's definitely a red flag. And I'm not talking about little cute jealousy like, oh, I think she likes him, or she thinks that he can play sports better. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about envy, where he's not happy for you when you reach a great milestone in your life, because maybe he hasn't reached one in his, or he loves to be on top and loves all the attention, or he doesn't like you to spend time with your friends or your family members, so he just wants all your time. So that's definitely a red flag, and I don't want you to have to go through the same thing that I went through, because being in an abusive relationship is definitely, of course, not fun. That's common sense. And if you can see these red flags up front, which is printed in the word, then you won't have to worry about a lot of things, and it'll save you a lot of time, girls. So please listen and make sure that when he is really envious about who you're spending your time with, when it comes to friends and family and this guy, that guy, make sure you start to slow down and think like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because love, he should be confident in himself and know that, okay, you love him or you like him and he is enough, and that's essentially what he's saying when he is jealous of you spending time with other people, especially people that can't do anything to harm his position. The next thing I want to get right into is that God is love. And God is patient, God is love, he's truth. And the truth resides in real love, and real love resides in truth. And so a lot of times the Bible talk about building your house on sand versus building your house on the rock. And if you are not waiting for love, if you're not careful, you will build your house with this man who God has not even had for you. He did not purpose him and set him aside for you. So your house is built on sand. And if God didn't have him for you, then sweetheart, then that you are building a house on sand. And so when the wind comes along, guess what? Your house, it crumbles. It won't last. It won't stand. But if you build your house on the rock, which is also God's word, and God is the foundation, then you have a better chance of withstanding the storm. So the Bible also talks about your house, those who build the house labor in vain if God isn't the foundation. So like I said, just be very, very careful with that. Make sure, that you are waiting for God to send that person that he has for you. Another point that I want to talk about, my series of points, is the benefits of waiting, and first benefit of waiting for love that I've seen so thus far in my waiting journey is that you have the upper hand. You have the upper hand and you have the victory, because people in God have the victory all the time, especially when it comes to love. And when you're waiting on him, you can't lose. He is developing you. He is working on you and your character. And essentially that's what he's doing. When he has you waiting, he's building you. You're not ready yet, or the guy he has for you isn't ready yet. And so what you have to do is just be wise in that waiting time and say, okay, well, let me get closer to God. That course pleases him. Let me work on me. What can I do myself? How can I be a great girlfriend or a great wife? How can I make myself a better person? What do I need to work on? A lot of other things is when you're waiting, you realize your self-worth. Like, I did not know what I was worth, and up until, about 2 years ago. No lie. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, I'm just like any other girl, blah, 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 this and that. But once I really started to slow down, I had been hurt so many times, and I realized what God's word said about me. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know what? I'm a gem. Like, I am a diamond. I'm important. I'm somebody, and I shouldn't just have any old guy walking up to me, feed me a bunch of lies, and then I'm falling for it and giving him parts of me that my husband should only have. Like, that's just not what you should do, and that's not what we should be about, ladies and girls. So when you are waiting for love and you're not giving out sex or money or whatever the case may be, then you're, like I said, you are telling this guy that, hey, I have standards. You can do things on your own terms. He has to come to you. You say, hey, this is not what I'm for, this is not what I'm about, and you can actually negotiate. As women and as girls, we have a lot of power, and I've tapped into that power, and there are things that I found out. I'm like, no, there's no way where I can make this guy do this and do that, or respect me if he has no respect here and there. No, you do. Like, we have so much power, girls and women. I'm just telling you, like, just start respecting yourself, and you will see even a guy who does not respect his girlfriend will respect you. Because you demand respect and you know your worth. The next point that I want to say is that when you're waiting, and this is a big one for me, you give God a chance to work. And my friend would also would fuss at me because I would be like, oh, nothing has changed. I prayed, I prayed, and God hasn't done anything yet, and I'm so mad, or, I'm getting impatient, and where is my Adam, or where is the guy, my Boaz, or the guy that God has for me, and I'm so tired of being brokenhearted. And my friend's like, Shayna, you just prayed last night. Like, give God a chance to work. And when she said it like that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's so stupid. Like, right, true. I mean, God can do anything in a heartbeat, but when he has you waiting, just know, you got to know that you know that it is for a reason. And now when I look back on that, I know that, okay, I wouldn't have even been ready for my husband if he had came before now. Like, there is no way in the world. Like, I would have ran him off. So when you wait, you give God a chance to work on you. You give him a chance to develop your character. You start being patient, and it flows into all different type of areas of your life. I'm talking about, I used to have road rage like crazy, and now since God has been making me wait on a lot of different things, even with my purpose and the girls group, I can be in traffic now and I can slow down, I can wait, I take my time, just it spills over into different areas of life, and it just has so many benefits when you're talking about waiting for love. Another thing I want to talk about is when you rush love, you're not protecting yourself. And that was just so huge for me because I was hurting myself when I was rushing love. And the Bible speaks on that too. And we can turn to Proverbs 4:23, verse 23. And that's huge because it says, above all else. And there again, God's putting the emphasis on it. Above all else, guard your heart because everything you do flows from it. Everything you do. So even the things that you try to hide, oh, I'm not brokenhearted. I haven't been hurt before. I'm not hurt before. I'm not bitter. I don't care what he did. I'm going to move on. I'm going to this and that. People see that you exude that in the way you talk, in the way you walk. There is no hiding benefit. There is no way you can hide bitterness. And you don't want to be that woman walking and carrying that pain. You want to let go, forgive, and realize that not only did he hurt you, and he played a big part in that, but also you, So, and you have to forgive yourself for falling for it, but at the same time, don't carry it around in your heart. And the way you can prevent all of that is just waiting on God. Paying attention to the warning signs, guarding your heart. And you guard your heart by watching what he does and what he says to you on the phone, and how much of you is he wanting you to give to him. Making sure he doesn't want you to give your body. Making sure he doesn't want to take time that you give to God, to him, so because true love is going to direct you right back to God. And when we're talking about helpmeets and the person that God has set aside for you, which is just so exciting, that he purposed someone just for us, and he made someone and he has them wait for us like we're waiting for him, then this person's going to be your helpmeet, and he's going to help you work on your purpose like you're going to help him work on his purpose. So y'all are going to fit. Y'all are going to mesh well. And so, like I said, you want to make sure that you are guarding your heart. If he is lying to you, or if he's lied to you several times, don't trip. Don't make excuses for him. I've done that so many times before, and I've ended up putting my foot in my mouth and just being so upset, like, oh my gosh, I was so stupid. Like, why did I do that? I should have seen that coming. He lied about this. He lied about that on Facebook. He, said that this girl was this and that to him. A lot of times God show us what's going on, and we don't listen. So just make sure that you guard in your heart, and that you're really, really careful with who you let into your life, because you are important. If you don't guard your heart, guess what? You can expect that guy to. You can't expect your friends to. You can't expect anybody